FTW.
FTW Broadcasting here for the win. We bring you hot StarCraft 2 action. Thank you so much for tuning into this GosuCast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so pumped to bring this one to you. Why? Because this is two players that Danny and I used to do when we did ProCast back in the day, and I'm so grateful to be able to bring them back to you in my new solo content. Since I got a new computer, I'm going to be doing a lot of ProCasts for you guys, and I've been listening to your feedback, so I'm going to incorporate some of that stuff. Like I'm going to do a recap at the end of the replay, like you guys have been asking for. I'm going to steal that idea directly from Force, and I'm going to try that out. So keep giving me your feedback, guy. I want to constantly improve these. Also, my resolution's better in this, too, so it should be looking better for you. But enough jibber-jabber about GosuCast. Let's get into it, folks. Let's bring up that name tag. DieStar, I don't know what that was. DieStar versus Virus Naama. Virus Naama, let's take a look at him first. You're probably familiar with him as Mao's Naama, formerly from Mao's Gaming. Switched on over to Team Virus. He is reigning from the country of Finland, one of the most foremost Finnish players. His nickname is The Beast. Why? Well, because his game mechanics are so beasty. He's known for those mechanics. He's 19 years old and does traditionally play Terran. See that Rax placement? It's further back behind the choke point here. Why? Because he knows he's up against a Terran opponent, and it looks like this is what his opponent DieStar is also doing. All Terran units are ranged. Yes, you probably already knew that. And but Naama was formerly a Warcraft 3 player, and he wasn't that successful, by the way. Naama sending out an SCV here the wrong direction to scout. Wasn't very successful at Warcraft 3, but as soon as he got his SC2 beta key, he kind of started getting his groove on and really started getting a lot better. And so he's really stuck with this game, very active in tournaments, as he is an international and Korean player. We do see a scout coming over here from DieStar, as he is going to very effectively scout this base. There's no Marines out here to push him away, so he's going to see this traditional gas timing here, as well as the racks. No add-ons on there. That's not really going to give him any information, but let's talk about DieStar, give you a little background on him. M at the beginning of his name is for Team Millennium, and he is a traditionally a Terran player as well, from the country of Poland. Early Marine here sitting at the top of this ramp, so no scouts are going to be able to get in here. And he is 20 years old, and he's formerly a member of Team Empire. And this man, he doesn't play on the ladder, by the way. Early, going straight to factory here, not a heavy early Rax play. Early factory, wouldn't be surprised to see some Blue Flame Hellions come out here from DieStar. So popular are those Blue Flame Hellions. It looks like Naama has taken over this Zelnaga tower. Going to be able to see all the action. This is a key point. I know you guys know this from Force Strategy Gaming videos, from those of you that came over from Force's channel. Such a key location on Metalopolis is this tower, especially when I don't know. You correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that it's very, very popular for two players to spawn across each other with these gap here in the center. This is such a popular spawn locations, especially for Gosu replays. It creates a lot more tension between the players because you can just fly a medevac over here and drop in either player's gas. And looks like both players have anticipated this by dropping supply depots behind their little fog walls here, which is very, very smart, as constant harassment is always a great tactic on this map, just because of how close you are to your opponent's base. And it looks like Naama is checking out this natural expansion to see if there's any kind of early shenanigans here. There is not. There's that early Blue Flame Hellion that I was talking about earlier, and he's going to fly around, and he's going to drive around, and oh no, this Marine is all but doomed, and he gets roasty-toasted up. I love that death animation, as he is completely immolated. Looks like we do see some action here at a factory here from Naama, as he does have the reactor on his rack, so he's pumping out heavy early reens. Whether that's for early pressure or just early defense, that is to be seen. I would imagine for early defense, because he has his command center being completed here at his natural expansion. It would be pretty smart to drop a couple bunkers, a couple missile turrets here, really block that off. Maybe even a couple siege tanks. Always a great idea for a Terran player for defensive purposes. Yep, bringing that excuse me, bringing that factory on top of that reactor, which means double Hellions being pumped out right now, which is very, very smart. Starport also being brought out. So we're seeing lots of versatility in Naama's future as he's getting scanned, right on top of that starport. Not good for the secrets. A Banshee being pumped out right now from DieStar. So it looks like both of these players are sort of mirroring each other's builds, really, and both players getting the scan off on each other, which is Rax, Starport, Factory, and another Rax here. This is a very mirrored build, and just as that scan ended, this Banshee, I think, did get spotted. It does not have the cloak upgrade right now, but it is going to be able to lay some massive damage down on these Marines as they're so vulnerable without that shield upgrade. As we see 3 Hellions out front here from Naama, I want to see those roll across the map, see him try to do some economic damage, and if this Banshee's able to get in here, he's going to get some free pickings on these SCVs at the back mineral line. Naama would be advised to put some missile turrets on the back of his line, and immediately DieStar also having a Viking coming out here, anticipating air from Naama, which is a great idea. Is going to be able to take down this medevac as that Viking comes over. And I want to see what Naama is going to pump out of his starport, as nothing has come out yet except for that medevac. And I guess he's just planning on an early drop or something like that, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Heavy movement over here from Naama as these Hellions are starting to roll out. And Blue Flame upgrade, by the way, coming in for Naama. The Blue Flame upgrade will not be completed in time. Getting pushed away by that Banshee. The Banshee doing massive damage to these Hellions. They have to pull back. They've got to get back, folks, and wait for that Blue Flame upgrade so you can get in there and get the quick strike, folks. The quick strike. And this expansion from Naama, really want to take a look at that income tab and see how he's looking. Naama is out ahead. Take a look at it, folks. A couple hundred on the minerals and 100 on the gas. Will that continue? Let's keep an eye on it, because I wouldn't be surprised to see DieStar put up his own expansion. But it looks like he's just going heavy units right now. Heavy units. Perhaps he's going to stick one base Terran in order to apply heavy pressure to Naama. If he does, he needs to do some damage quick, because he's falling further and further behind in the economy. These siege tanks are going to siege up as DieStar is claiming out his territory here on this highway. I tell you what, it has got to suck to live in Metalopolis. There are thousands of battles on your roof every single day, and that's got to be a rough time. That's got to be a really rough time. The Blue Flame upgrade almost completed right now for for Naama. So once that Blue Flame's done, this Terran bio on the ground for DieStar is going to be in terrible shape, but these tanks can really just clean up and do some serious damage, and I'm not seeing the match on the tank here from Naama, which means he needs to get a couple tanks. Really the only thing that a Terran player can do to heavily counter tanks is either to get a lot of stim pack rotters and get in close, or to get your own tanks, or just straight up go air, of course. But he doesn't have the production capabilities to just go heavy air, as we see a couple Vikings right here trying to hot Viking on Viking action here on the edge. DieStar does have this excellent placement of the siege tank on the edge of Naama's base. Naama realizing he needs to get siege tanks to deal with this situation. This is very tense early game, as DieStar is continuing to reinforce, bringing more Marines out to reinforce his little force here, and Naama is out ahead on units, probably because his economy is so far out ahead. Look at that income tab. He's really pulling out in front. He's 20 ahead right now. Huge battle right now as the Blue Flame Hellions got a couple free shots there in the front, as it appeared that DieStar was not prepared. These siege tanks were not sieged up. This Banshee's out front trying to do some serious damage. This Viking out of position, this Marine out of position, getting some free kills there on DieStar. Oh no, DieStar is completely outmatched. There are too many forces here on the ground for DieStar to deal with. The SCV's getting in on the action, tanking it up. These Marauders need to focus down these siege tanks, because they are ripping up the bio on the ground as they get in closer, as I was talking about earlier. They really took care of business. And right now, the harvester counts so even, as so many SCVs were brought in by Naama to deal with that situation, that we're back to 30 and 30, and things just evened right up. That was incredible what Naama had to do to win that battle, but realizing that was what it took, and good decision there by Naama by bringing those SCVs in. And now we're back to square one, as DieStar now has his expansion up, and both players just building very similar unit comps, as we see a couple more Raxes being dropped here by DieStar for production. Siege tanks, Vikings, Marauders, Marines, and maybe a couple medevacs for both players, just kind of doing that more versatile build, and that's a good thing to do against a Terran player, because they are going to be just as versatile as you. And they're really, in my opinion, there's no hard counters in TVT as opposed to there is in TVT TVP and TVZ. So really a more versatile build is going to be the smarter choice more times than not. And taking a look at the production tab here, we do see combat shields going up for Naama, and great idea with those Blue Flame Hellions on board, as well as those siege tanks. Really, that would be your main concern building that. I would like to see a couple missile turrets being built by both players at their bases to prevent drops in the future, but I'm not really seeing that. Both players, I guess, realizing that that's not a threat right now, I guess. And this Vikings are kind of hanging out here around the base. I'd like to see them along the edge in the great gap here. And we're seeing a scouting racks heading out here from Naama. I always love to see the scouting racks. They're going to run into some serious trouble here as these Vikings do bonus damage to armored. And let's see what Naama is able to see. He's going to see some factories, some raxes, and really just heavy raxes is the new information that he's going to see, which means obviously that he's going to see more bio. Double Viking on double Viking action. I love that hot air on air action as Naama is now returning the favor, sieging up right on the edge of DieStar's base, showing him that he can do the exact same thing. Siege warfare on Metalopolis is disgusting, because your entire base is surrounded by this cliff here, and he's really taking out these barracks. I'd like to see DieStar pull these up and fly them away, save them, folks, as Naama's now pumping out Marines inside of DieStar's base. Want to talk about hardcore? That was awesome, and this Rax looks like it's going to go down sometime soon, as these Marines are getting up on the high ground. Yes, Naama needs to go ahead and pull back. That was absolutely Gosu with the racks inside of your opponent's base. That was ballsy. Ballsy is a good word for that, and also Gosu is as well, as that was very, very distracting, and I just bought him extra time for him to siege up here on the edge of DieStar's base. Great idea. And folks, when you're building buildings against a Terran player on this map, take note, keep them off the edge. Keep them more inside of your base around this area so those siege tanks just can't get free hits on you. And taking a look at the production tab, they're looking very, very similar up top. The only difference being that Naama is now taking my advice and pumping out 4 missile turrets. And we got a major altercation here in the center of the map, as it's just kind of even. It's a little tap and go, handful of siege tanks, Vikings, Marauders. We do see the shield upgrades for both players, not seeing stim pack really for either player right now, as I say that, Virus Naama is bringing in his stim pack upgrade. Will make a bit of a difference, as we would like to see a few medevacs in play to complement that. Want to check out the expansion situation here as a planetary fortress being dropped here at this second expansion. A little bit of tap and go here as DieStar looks like he's in a bad position. Moving all your units closer, Naama. No, he's not going to, as there's 4 siege tanks here in the back. He doesn't really want to play around with that. I don't like how Naama is just kind of hanging back with all these units on the ground as DieStar's siege tanks are ripping him to bits with the nice scan placement there from DieStar. So both players have had their second expansions up. Second expansion here. It looks like, though, Naama is ahead on income, as we need to always check in on that tab. He's way ahead, as he's got over 20 harvesters more than DieStar. That is a huge, huge advantage right now, and as we move forward, we're going to see Naama pull further and further ahead in that supply count, as he is at 114, DieStar only at 89. That puts DieStar in such a terrible position. We need to see lots and lots of harvesters being produced. I want to see DieStar pull his units back and just defend his bases right now, rather than cut off at this highway point. Why? Because he needs to get that economy matched up. He needs to get it up, or otherwise Naama is just going to start overwhelming. We need to keep an eye on these Blue Flame Hellions, though, as they're moving across the left-hand side of the map. These poor helpless Marines getting roasty-toasted up. Oh, this one does survive. And this expansion, not many workers here to deal with, not many free kills. Let's see how many. Oh god, roasting up those SCVs immediately. That was Gosu, folks, and I don't know if those Hellions paid for themselves, but they definitely paid for themselves an entertainment factor. Thank you, Naama, appreciate that. Another scan being dropped down right on top of Naama's army. Seeing the comp here, always like to see you know, maybe a missile turret drop down and sort of draw a line in the sand type of situation. A little missile turret over here never hurt, and a little bunker back here never hurt either, to give you sort of a fallback position. But these guys are pros, and I'm not. I'm just talking about what I would like to see. These guys actually make it happen on a regular basis. By the way, DieStar, I checked him out on SC2 ranks. He's not too heavy on the BattleNet ladder action, but he has played 1,800 custom games, so he's spending most of his time, by the way, hot Viking on Viking action. Love to see that. And he is heavy on the custom games, playing over 1,800, so he's been spending most of his time just playing against worthy pro opponents to really get his experience. Was just a very smart move as a pro player. I like that decision making. More harassment here from Blue Flame Hellions at the back of DieStar's expansion. We see about 5 SCVs get roasted up there as these Marines just getting toasted up. 2 Blue Flames equals doom for them right now. And wow, that was heavy hardcore. I'm sorry, with the shield upgrade, I believe it is 3 Blue Flames kills you. Either way, God, that looks painful as that death animation goes on for over 8 seconds of just painful death. And all these Marines that are moving up to this position keep getting just destroyed by these siege tanks. Naama needs to be more careful. Let's take a look at that supply count up at the top, folks. Virus Naama at 161 over 161, only 116 for DieStar. I don't know if Naama knows this, but he's got a heavy advantage. This line in the sand just keeping me tense and keeping my eye on this area, folks, as more Blue Flame Hellion harassment over here. This is great decision making by Naama as he's keeping this. God, just flaming up everything. These Hellions are really paying for themselves as they're keeping, if they can keep this expansion in check, if they move in, this expansion is so packed full of workers. Oh no, how many workers are going to die right now? And so many getting roasted up at this time. And oh my gosh, they're going down. This is the main mining expansion for DieStar. Gosh, this keeps getting taken down, and this is really keeping the economy in check. Bad for DieStar. He needs this. He needs this as another expansion is being brought up for Naama here as he's starting to he has been dominating. Now he's continued to keep that dominating economic position as this expansion is doing fine, but his main is pretty much, it's not pretty much, it is mined out at this time. We see that Naama, I'm going to try to stay away from saying at this time, guys. Oh, and it looks like the game is over. A GG there from DieStar, realizing that he was in dire straits. Let's take a look at the income tab at the end of the game. That is the story, folks. And I'm going to go ahead and give you one of these Force Strategy Gaming recaps, so let's dive right into it. But before I do, I think we know the overall story of this game. That is economy. Take a look up in the top left-hand corner. Income, 80 harvesters as opposed to 44 from DieStar. That put him in a terrible position. Let's dive right into the top 3 most Gosu moments of this game. And here's one of my most favorite Gosu moments this game. As this Rax comes over, I thought he was just here on the scout, and these 2 Vikings are starting to take him out. The man driving, I'd like to be the man driving a building, to be quite honest with you. That would be really awesome. It's got 2 giant jetpacks on the back, but here's the key part. So Naama is bringing this Rax in right now, sort of on the distract, to kind of keep DieStar occupied while he's got these siege tanks on the low ground as well as these Marauders and Marines, and he's trying to keep him distracted. Here's the Gosu part, pumping out a Marine in the middle of his opponent's base. We're 14 minutes into this replay. The production capabilities of DieStar at this time are huge, and this is just so Gosu. And here is one of my favorite moments of the game. This Marine coming out saying, I'm going to handle business. Let's do this. Oh, he doesn't even get a shot off. He gets killed immediately. That was Gosu. Let's check out my second favorite moment. And here's my second favorite moment of this match as these Blue Flame Hellion harassment at the second expansion of DieStar. Look at all these Hellions rolling into this expansion. All these Marines didn't know what was coming as they just went absolutely buck wild. Naama did this about 4 or 5 times, roasting up everybody on the ground. Look at all these carcasses up here, just absolutely toasted up. So many examples of that in this game. Once Naama got that Blue Flame upgrade, he just went to town on the harassment on this expansion. It was absolutely Gosu, and that's what helped keep the economy in check of DieStar for this game, and that's eventually what won him the game, was harassment on this expansion. #1 factor this game, in my opinion. And here's my third favorite, most Gosu moment of the match as Naama's running up against a superior force here from DieStar. Really, they were fairly even, but he was getting pushed back. He wanted to be more conservative. Why? Because those 2 siege tanks were in the back of DieStar. He pulls off 20 SCVs off his mineral line from his natural expansion, brings them in here, which allows him to absorb this damage from the siege tank advantage that DieStar had in such an early point of the game, only 11 minutes in, allowing him to sweep in here and take everything to the house, allowing him to win this battle. And potentially, this is what saved his natural expansion in the first place and allowed him to continue down that path of economic victory. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Workers Kill tab and the Units Kill tab here to determine who wins the Gosu trophy for this game. Wow, it's actually a surprise. Even though Naama won the game, DieStar is going to win it with 48 units killed and 23 workers killed. You, sir, were the most Gosu this game, and if you would like to redeem your trophy, oh yeah, here's the shot, oh yeah, of me kissing the trophy. Oh, it's so delicious. If you'd like your own customized Gosu trophy, email me, FTWBROADCASTING@gmail.com, or you could go play some tournaments and go get some real trophies as you are a Gosu player. Thank you so much to these two players for playing for our enjoyment here on the YouTube, and also I want to thank For Strategy Gaming for letting me jack his idea. Really, he didn't let me. I just straight up jacked his idea on the recaps at the end of replays. So thanks to you guys for your feedback there, telling me that this is what you wanted to see at the end of replays. I'm going to get better and better at it, so your feedback is very much appreciated. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the heart slide. So if you'd like to subscribe to our channel, you can always click in the center of the heart. Danny does a sick dance every time you click that. And if you'd like to check out my GosuCast playlist, click in the bottom right-hand corner, that green link, or you can click the video description below, always, to check out these GosuCasts. Can be pumping these out on a regular basis. Also, you can check out our YouTube channel by clicking that blue link down there in the bottom left-hand corner. And we also have Star Wars content, other games, TROLLCASTs, fun or not. We do a lot of different types of content. So subscribe to our channel and check us out if you'd like. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you in my next GosuCast. Oh, and if I didn't mention it earlier, Gosu!